Hey guys, I hope you're doing great today. All right, we are going to wind up our AWS Cloud Practitioner course, and today we are going to talk about AWS pricing and support, and that would be our last lecture of AWS Cloud Practitioner certification course. And guys, you can see that I have already been planning and working on more AWS courses. And just like I promised, we are going to have our AWS Solutions Architect Associate course uploaded on our YouTube channel as soon as possible. So, just for making you assured that I am already working and writing lectures on AWS Solutions Architect Associate on my Google Drive, and I would be recording these lectures and going to upload on YouTube channel DevOps Molvi as soon as possible. So that's why I would request you to stay tuned and make sure that you have subscribed DevOps Molvi. Today, this would be our last lecture of our AWS is Awesome lecture series, and we are going to talk about AWS pricing and support. We have covered almost 10 chapters so far, and I have been sharing the slides of each lecture in the description. So make sure that you must check out the description of each video. You will find the slides link in the description. And today we are going to have our chapter number 11, which is AWS pricing and support. And you can expect 3 or 4 questions regarding different AWS pricing models and support in the AWS Cloud Practitioner Certification exam. So let's get started. And first of all, we have AWS Free Tier. We have already discussed AWS Free Tier in our first 2 lectures, and we have gone through all the possible details of AWS Free Tier. So make sure that you must check out the first 2 lectures in which you are going to find more detailed information about AWS Free Tier. The AWS Free Tier offers are available for 12 months after we create an AWS account. Some services are offered on a free trial, some are offered on 12 months. Okay, you can enjoy the services for the next 1 year from the day you are going to create your AWS account, and some of the services are free for the rest of our life. So make sure that you must check out the first 2 lectures in which we have already covered AWS free tier. So free tier means that the services that are available free of cost. And we have AWS Pricing Calculator, which is an important pricing tool to calculate our infrastructure prices on AWS. We know that AWS works on pay-as-you-go model. Pay for the resources that we use. Okay, this is pay-as-you-go model. We have AWS Pricing Calculator, which gives us an estimate for the cost of building resources on AWS. Let me explain it real quick. For instance, if I am going to launch 10 large EC2 virtual machines, so I can use AWS Pricing Calculator to get all the possible costs of launching 10 large EC2 virtual machines, like storage, their CPU and memory resources costs, and elastic IP address cost. So we can get the rough estimate of all the pricings before we are going to actually launch any AWS resource. So before building resources on AWS, we can use AWS pricing calculator to have an idea of the costs. Okay, we can generate monthly cost estimates for all AWS regions as well. Guys, remember that AWS costs get varies. Okay, they are varied according to the regions. For instance, if I am getting monthly cost of an EC2 VM as $30 in Asia Mumbai, maybe it is more cheaper in US West region or US East region. So that's how the prices of the resources vary according to the regions. So using pricing calculator, we can also get the estimate of the costs according to the regions. For instance, if I want to have all the estimates of the cost of AWS resources according to the Mumbai region, Then I can use AWS Pricing Calculator. AWS has shared the prices of all of its services. There is nothing, as we can say, hidden from us. AWS has shared every cost, every price of its service on AWS. We have all the costs, we have all the pricings of each and every service on AWS official websites. So there is nothing, anything we can say that it is hidden from us, okay? And we have AWS Billing Dashboard. We can compare current month-to-date balance with the previous month and get a forecast of the next month based on the current usage. Okay, so for instance, if I have bills and I'm running resources on AWS, I can get the estimate of the current month. I can get the previous month's cost as well, and I can get the estimate of the next month. What would be the cost? What would be the bills that I am going to expect in August, in September, in November, etc. So we can also compare the costs. We can also get an idea of the usage in the previous months and in the future or the next months with the help of AWS Billing Dashboard. And also, guys, we can view month to date spent by service. Okay, now for instance, today is 22nd of July, and I can use from 1st of July to the current date, and we can get the estimate of from the 1st of every month to the current date. We can view free tier usage by service. We can access Cost Explorer and create budgets. We can also purchase and manage savings plans, and all of that is available in AWS Billing Dashboard. So what are actually budgets? We are going to discuss it in our next slide. Now, what is consolidated billing? Consolidated billing means, it is simple by the way, to receive a single bill for all AWS accounts in our organization. In our organization, we have 10 or 12 AWS accounts, but I want to have a single bill for all those 10 or 12 AWS accounts. I can use consolidated billing, and I will get only one bill of all my AWS accounts in our organization. The default maximum number of accounts allowed for an organization is 4, but it is possible to add more accounts in the organization to get a consolidated billing, to get the billing of all AWS accounts. We can easily track the combined costs of all the linked accounts using consolidated billing. Like discussed before, that we can have all the accounts added in our organization, and we can get a single bill of all the AWS accounts using consolidated billing. And after that, guys, we have AWS budgets. Like we can create budgets to plan the service usage. We can have service costs and instance reservations using AWS budgets. In AWS budgets, we can also set custom alerts when the usage exceeds the budgeted amount. This is pretty straightforward. Like I have given the example of setting a budget for Amazon EC2 not exceeding $200 for the month. This would be the budget that I'm going to set for EC2. That my EC2 budget should not exceed $200 for each month, and if it is going to exceed, I should get an email notification. We can also configure notifications if any of the service is going to exceed the defined budget. So with the help of AWS budgets, we can define the limited budget for any service in AWS. Like I can set $200 for Amazon EC2. I can set $50 for S3. I can set $500 for EKS or ECS. So I can create budgets using AWS budgets, and I can limit the usage with the help of budgets. Okay. And we can also set the custom alerts when any of the service is going to exceed that budget. I should get alert. I should get an email notification, and then I can check out and further investigate what was the reason of that service exceeding the limited budget. And after that, guys, we have AWS Cost Explorer. It is a tool to visualize, understand, and manage the AWS costs and usage over time. We have AWS Cost Explorer. It includes a default report for the costs and usage for our top 5 cost reoccurring AWS services. And also, I have shared the example of the same example that I have been sharing earlier, that monthly costs for Amazon EC2 instances. So, being a DevOps engineer, if I want to have all the details, I want to understand the cost usage by each service, then I can use AWS Cost Explorer. AWS Cost Explorer shares a detailed report of the top 5 services that have the highest cost for that specific month. So, AWS Cost Explorer includes a default report of the costs and usage for our top 5 AWS cost occurring services. And those services can be like EC2, S3, bandwidth, ECS, okay, EKS, and all the costs are combined in AWS Cost Explorer. And we can also see the cost of the previous months as well using Cost Explorer. So it shares all the monthly costs of our AWS services. And last slide, guys, we have AWS support plans as well. So there are actually different types of support plans, and AWS provides support according to the plan that is attached to your account. For instance, we have basic, we have developer support plan, we have business support plan for IT organizations, we have enterprise on RAM, and we have enterprise support plan. Among all these support plans, only basic is free. I can use basic support plan only, because all the rest of the plans like developer, business, enterprise, on-ramp, and enterprise, all of these support plans come with a price tag. So you have to pay additional price for the support plan. And among that, enterprise support plan is the most costly support plans. You can get more details of all these support plans on AWS website. So that's it, guys, for today's lecture. And we thankfully have completed our AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. And just like in the beginning, I have shared that I am already working on AWS Certified Solutions Architect course as well. Feel free to ask, and I will see you in our next course. Have a good one. Bye.